Have you ever wondered how many lone pairs you should put on an atom? When you look at this structure, should we put a lone pair on this carbon atom? What about the carbanion, the carbon with the negative charge? What about the oxygen? How many lone pairs should we put on it? Now, normally, we typically add lone pairs until the atom has 8 electrons. And that works in most cases, but there are situations where an atom can have an expanded octet that is more than 8 electrons. Sometimes it can have an incomplete octet that is less than 8 electrons. Now, elements in the second row, like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, they can't have more than 8 electrons. They can't have an expanded octet. However, sometimes they can have an incomplete octet, less than 8. Elements like phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, they can have an expanded octet. They can have more than 8 electrons. In most cases, they tend to have 8. So if you use that, you can determine the number of lone pairs. So for instance, oxygen likes to have 8 electrons. Here it has 3 bonds, that's 6 electrons. So intuitively, we know to put one lone pair. So it would have 8 electrons. Sulfur likes to have 8 electrons, but sometimes it can have more. Here it has 1 bond, so intuitively, we know to put 3 lone pairs. Carbon likes to have 8 electrons. Right now, we see that it has 2 bonds. Now, you may be thinking, okay, are there any hydrogen atoms here? I should tell you that there's 1 hydrogen atom. Knowing that there's only 1 hydrogen atom, how many lone pairs would you put on this carbon? Here we have 1, 2, 3 bonds. It wants to have 8, so we know intuitively to put 1 lone pair. This carbon atom has no hydrogen atoms on it. It has just 3 bonds. Should we put a lone pair? If you were to put a lone pair to give it 8 electrons, that would not be the correct answer. Because this carbon has 3 bonds, 1 lone pair, and it has a negative charge. This one has 3 bonds, 1 lone pair, and it has a positive charge. So something must be different here. So now we're going to talk about how to actually calculate the number of lone pairs that each of these atoms should have. So let's start with the carbon atom with a plus charge. Here's the formula that you need. The number of dots is equal to the valence electrons of that atom when it's a free atom minus the formal charge on the atom plus the number of bonds attached to the atom. So here we have a carbocation, a carbon with 3 bonds and a plus charge. Carbon is found in group 4A of the periodic table. Elements in that group typically have 4 valence electrons. That's the number of electrons in their outermost energy level. Now, in this structure, carbon has a formal charge of positive 1. So let's replace Fc with 1. And this carbon atom here, we can see that it has 3 bonds connected to it. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So this tells us that there are no dots, which means there are no lone pairs on this carbon atom. It has an incomplete octet. So that's when this formula becomes very useful. It's for atoms that have an incomplete octet or an expanded octet. Let's look at another example. Borane, BH3. Should we put a lone pair on boron, or is this another molecule with an incomplete octet? Well, let's use this formula to find out. So boron, it's in group 3 or group 3A of the periodic table. So it has 3 valence electrons. It has no formal charge. There's no plus charge, no negative charge on a boron, but it has 3 bonds. So this becomes 3 minus 3, which is 0. Because we got 0, that means that boron doesn't have any lone pairs on it. So this is another molecule with an incomplete octet. Now, what about the carbon atom with the negative charge? So if we have a carbon atom with 3 bonds, and if it has a negative formal charge, should we put a lone pair on it? Is it going to have an incomplete octet, a normal octet, or an expanded octet? Now, because carbon's in the second row, it can't have an expanded octet. But let's calculate it. Carbon has 4 valence electrons. In this structure, it has a negative formal charge. So we're going to replace Fc with -1. Now, there are 3 bonds connected to it, so B is 3. -1 plus 3 is +2, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So what does this mean? If D is equal to 2, what it means that is we have 2 dots. 2 dots is 1 lone pair. So to calculate the number of lone pairs, it's basically half of D. So we're going to put 2 dots on carbon. So carbon should have 1 lone pair when it has a negative formal charge and 3 bonds. Now, what about the oxygen atom that we see here? What should be the formal charge? Now, oxygen is a chalcogen in group 6A, just like sulfur, and they both have 6 valence electrons. Now, in this structure, we can see that oxygen has a formal charge of +1, and it has 1 and 2, so a total of 3 bonds. So 1 plus 3 is 4. We get 6 minus 4, which is 2. So oxygen needs 2 dots or 1 lone pair. Now what about the sulfur atom? It only has 1 bond and a -1 formal charge. Like oxygen, sulfur is a chalcogen that has 6 valence electrons. It has a formal charge of -1, and it only has 1 bond in its structure. So -1 and 1 cancels. We get 6 minus 0, which is 6. So we have 6 dots, which is 3 lone pairs. So here's the first 2 dots, the next 2, and then the last 2. So that's 6 dots in total. So you can see this formula works. It's very useful in helping you to calculate the number of lone pairs or dots on an atom. Now let's look at water. Let's calculate the number of dots that should be on the oxygen atom. So oxygen has 6 valence electrons. In this structure, it doesn't have a charge, so the formal charge is 0, but it does have 2 bonds. 6 minus 2 is 4, so we need to put 4 dots on oxygen. Now let's consider hydroxide when oxygen has a negative charge. So we have 6 valence electrons, a formal charge of -1. Here oxygen only has 1 bond, and that is directly to hydrogen. So -1 and 1 cancels, we just get 6. So we need to put 6 dots or 3 lone pairs on hydroxide. Now let's look at the azide ion. That's N3 minus. And there are different resonance forms of this ion. Here's one resonant form, and I'm going to draw another one. That's another resonance form. Now in the first one, nitrogen has a positive formal charge in the middle, but at the end it has a negative formal charge. For the second resonance structure, in the middle it has a positive formal charge, and on the right it has a -2 formal charge. We're going to calculate the number of lone pairs that should be on the nitrogen atoms. So let's start with this nitrogen atom. It has 2 bonds and a -1 formal charge. Nitrogen is found in group 5A of the periodic table, so it has 5 valence electrons. Here we see that it has a -1 formal charge and it has 2 bonds. -1 plus 2 is 1, so we get 5 minus 1, which is 4. So this means that nitrogen needs 4 dots or 2 lone pairs. The other one's going to be the same. Now what about the nitrogen atom in the middle, the one with a positive formal charge? This is going to be 5. Now we're going to replace Fc with +1 instead of -1. And that nitrogen has 2 double bonds, which is 4 bonds. So it becomes 5 minus 5, which is 0. That means that we don't need to place any lone pairs on the nitrogen. And it makes sense though, because nitrogen already has 8 electrons. 2, 4, 6, 8. So it doesn't need any lone pairs. Now what about this nitrogen atom? It has a formal charge of 0, but it has 3 bonds. So this is going to be 5 minus the formal charge of 0 plus the 3 bonds. 5 minus 3 is 2. So we just got to put 2 dots or 1 lone pair on that nitrogen atom. Now let's look at our final example. When nitrogen has a -2 charge, how many lone pairs should we put on it? So this is going to be 5 minus a formal charge of -2, and this nitrogen only has 1 bond. So it's 5 minus -2 plus 1 is -1. 5 minus -1 is the same as 5 plus 1, which gives us 6. So we need to put 6 dots or 3 lone pairs on that nitrogen atom. Now let me give you an unusual example. Because for those, I mean, all of them, the nitrogen atoms had 8 electrons. So if you simply filled up each nitrogen atom with lone pairs until it had 8, you would get the right answer. But what would you do in a situation like this? N2O. I meant to say NO2. We have 1 nitrogen atom and 2 oxygen atoms. NO2 overall is neutral. This particular oxygen has a negative formal charge. When oxygen has 1 bond and 3 lone pairs, like hydroxide, it typically has a negative charge. When oxygen has 2 bonds, 2 lone pairs, like in the case of water, it's neutral, which means that this nitrogen atom must have a +1 formal charge in order for the whole molecule to be neutral. So with that information, how many lone pairs, if any, should we put on the nitrogen atom? Or does it have a complete octet or an incomplete octet? If we assume that it has a complete octet, instinctively we might put 1 lone pair. But let's find out if that should be the case. So we know nitrogen has 5 valence electrons. Here we can deduce that it has a +1 formal charge. We can see that it has a total of 3 bonds. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Notice that we have an odd number. In order to get a complete lone pair, we need an even number. So we have 1 dot or half of a lone pair. What we have here is a radical. Whenever you have an odd number of dots, or like not a complete lone pair, you're dealing with radicals. So this is known as a free radical, this nitrogen atom. But this formula will tell us if we have a free radical or not, if we have an even number of electrons on an atom or an odd number. If it's an odd number, you're dealing with radicals. If it's an even number, you have complete whole lone pairs. But that's it for this video. So now you know how to calculate the number of dots and by extension, the number of lone pairs on an atom.